Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. We are the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. Well, today we're exploring an issue that's very close to my heart, and that's mental health within higher education. And as some of you know already, I suffered from mental health issues some of my school life, all throughout college and throughout the whole of my university life as well. And I know how very difficult it is to study and be going through mental health issues at the same time. Now, according to the National Union of Students, 78% of students say they experienced mental health issues last year, with 33% having suicidal thoughts. So clearly, there isn't enough being done to help those students who are suffering. But how do we fix this? Well, here to discuss it with me is cross-cultural psychologist Jasmine Dumasia, who'll be telling me how she believes providing mental health first aiders is the answer. I'll also be joined by Josephine Bardi of the University of Nottingham, who is the lucky recipient actually of this week's makeover for her tireless work helping students who are in crisis. We'll be seeing her makeover and hearing more about how she is raising awareness for mental health in higher education. And then later on, I'll be joined by our fashion expert Cynthia Liza Gregoire, who'll be giving us all of her tips on dressing for autumn. And will also be telling us why her new job is making her feel so good. Now, many students get stressed about not having enough money, so we'll also have our makeup expert Sani Sormer on to talk to us about makeup on a budget. But first, let's hear what some of you have to say about mental health in education. Chloe says, written a 1,000-word report and emailed my university mental health team about getting support. Progress. Madeline says, university is actually so bad for your mental health, constantly on the edge of a nervous breakdown. Whilst Ben furiously states, I'm not saying university caused my rapid decline in mental health, but university caused my rapid decline in mental health. Amelia says, the hours I spend studying is so painful, RIP my mental health. Eve says, friendly reminder to take mental health days when you need them. Don't force yourself to go to school or uni when you're struggling. And Sar says she's going to Mental Health Society at uni for the first time today. Nervous, but it sounds like such a good thing, so I'm a bit excited too. Well, we do wish you all the best, Sar. So the resounding message there is indeed that university or college can be a very stressful time, so looking after yourself is vitally important. Now, before I meet my first guest, let's catch up on the news with Pax Brown.
Thank you, Chrissy. Now, mental health in higher education is really of growing concern. In fact, it's gaining a lot of media attention lately. One of the most recent stories talks about how some universities have started offering help to their students who have been offended by certain Halloween costumes. We've got an article on the BBC which talks about Ruth Caleb, chair of the University UK's Mental Wellbeing Working Group, saying that demands in counselling service have risen by 10% yearly of recent years, and 92% of students actually face some sort of mental distress. Now, I really wanted to look at some of the more personal stories on the internet about mental health in higher education. We've got a Guardian article that tells us some of these. We've got Colin Evans, who is in his second year of chemistry degree at the University of Manchester and suffers from schizophrenia. He realized that a really effective solution to his mental health problems is to live as close as possible to his parents. In fact, whereas he was previously attending University of Liverpool and subsequently University of Leeds, he ended up going to University of Manchester, which is only a 40-minute drive to his hometown. That really made a massive difference from him because his parents can visit him every weekend, which is just lovely. Another inspiring story from Megan Dumsday, who says that the only thing that was familiar in her first few weeks of university was her mental illness. Now, for her, the worst part was that it was invisible. You know, her friends just didn't see what was going on. And she says that the best solution for her was just to speak about it with friends, with family, with people who could give her advice. Because she said that until she spoke about it, until she actually mouthed the words to someone, it just was all in her head to her. It didn't feel real. Another story talks about how one student who once suffered from a very severe anxiety attack decided to take that step and finally contact her counselling services at uni. She said, "Nothing can describe the relief I felt when a therapist said for the first time, 'That must be really hard. Yeah, it was hard. Finally, someone who understood, someone who didn't tell me to snap out of it. Now I have access to support, and I can support others too, and that's the best feeling I could ask for. We've got a contrasting view from Tasneem Zamam, from also Calgary University, who studies social work, and says the university provides 10 free sessions in the academic career of undergraduates. However, that is not enough for students who are dealing with a mental illness. Although private counselling is an option, it's still too expensive for most of us. And there is more as well. Quartz.com asks the question, could gap years be the solution to mental health issues in higher education? In fact, Malia Obama, the US president's daughter, has announced in September that she will take a gap year before going to Harvard University. Several studies focusing on students in the UK and Australia have shown that students who take gap years experience various personal benefits such as higher levels of motivation and higher academic performance. A 2015 survey showed 73% of respondents reported that their gap year helped them increase their readiness for uni. 59% said it increased their interest in attending uni, and 57% said it helped them figure out what they wanted to study at uni. Now back to you, Chrissy. Thanks for listening, guys.
So thank you very much to Pax for the news. So now I'm delighted to be joined by Jasmine Dumasia, who is a cross-cultural psychologist. Hello, Jasmine.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So lovely to have you on.
It's lovely to be here.
So can you tell us what a cross-cultural psychologist is, please?
So a cross-cultural psychologist looks at universal behavior and at behaviors which are unique to cultures to see how culture affects us as people, our behavior, our family life, our social interaction, all of that. But what I do with my cross-cultural psychology is I use psychology and lessons from cultures around the world to help us get more out of parenting, out of mental health, out of life.
Now, speaking of mental health, I actually met you at the University of Nottingham. You were one of the speakers there.
That's correct.
And can you tell us the type of things that you were covering and how that relates to mental health in higher education?
So I was talking about mental health and innovation in mental health to do with lessons from cultures around the world. So I talked about the prevalence of mental health in the UK. I talked about the reasons why we need innovation, and then I looked to Australia and India as two models to see what we can learn from those two cultures and incorporate that within the UK to better the mental health here.
And what were your findings with Australia and India?
So they're two quite diverse and distinct cultures, Australia and India. I mean, India is low income, vast tracts of rural population, which is not that connected to psychological health, low spending on mental health, and Australia is completely different. Culturally, they are very different as well. But the models that they both use are similar in one respect. They're both community-led and don't rely on government funding. So Australia uses a model called mental health first aid, where you train people much like you train physical first aiders. You train them for mental health first aid, and they're like your first response.
It's a really good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the Indian model is slightly different. It's community-led, it's technology-led and community-led, and it is quite decentralized, it's deprofessionalized and demedicalized to a large extent. So you have a few professional mental health staff who train a wider base of lay people, and then they rely on an even wider base of volunteers. And then they service particularly the lower income rural sectors in India, which otherwise have various barriers to accessing mental health, to accessing basically their mental health needs. And the model actually is quite successful in India. It's in South India. It's been piloted in South India, and it about 100 professionals and volunteers treat 3,500 people.
Wow.
And they use
Okay.
technology, they use smartphones to email
That's
and
really
to
good.
text in between while they can't get to people.
Okay.
And the model that I was suggesting was a model where institutions and communities can step up and take charge.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like a three-pronged model that I've suggested, which is you train certain key staff to be mental health first aiders.
Yeah.
You train all staff in mental health awareness, and
Good idea,
you include mental health awareness and resilience training as a part of the student induction experience.
Yes,
So it's a simple model, it's inexpensive to implement, and I think all institutions, all communities, all schools, offices, corporates should be doing their bit towards
Yeah, I
it.
definitely agree with that. And actually, I was speaking to a few people at the university when we went and did the talks there, and a couple mentioned how, you know, they're offered like counselling or some counselling sessions, maybe 10, and then after that it's like they're left to their own devices and there isn't much sort of after that. But they need like support. They need more support than that.
Yes.
So something like this would be great to, you know, really keep in touch with people and encourage them and everything.
Absolutely, and it almost takes a step back, because before you develop mental illness,
Yes.
it develops. It's a model which helps you develop resilience.
Yes.
And helps you develop better mental health, much like physical health. I mean, we exercise, we try to eat good food, we try to sleep well to look after our physical health,
Yeah.
and very much the same model can be applied to mental health,
Yes.
where you do everything you can to keep your mental health as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, and especially at uni, I suppose, anyone studying, they've got that extra pressure
Yes.
on them.
Yes.
You know, as well, even if they haven't had a mental health issue before, but even being at university and that stress, and now all of a sudden they're responsible for themselves, and
Yes.
there's the expenses and all of those kind of things do worry students a lot. So if they can maybe do something beforehand, like you said, to keep
Yes.
their mental health in tip-top condition, they won't have to go through so much.
Absolutely,
Stress, definitely.
absolutely, and it comes at a time. All the stress that you were talking about, it comes at a time when we are vulnerable anyway.
Yeah.
Because almost half of adults who are living with mental illness were diagnosed between the ages of 14 and mid-20s.
Yes.
So it's a critical period anyway, and then you have
Definitely.
the added life stresses.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, and how far is this model? How are you aiming to run this out?
Well, I have developed it, and I have actually, at Nottingham University, somebody who was there
Yes.
asked me to send it across to them. So
Oh,
I have
great.
done that.
Okay, brilliant.
Yes, I have done that. I hope that the word spreads, and I hope that this can be taken forward.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, definitely. Oh, Jasmine, thank you so much for speaking to us,
Not
and
at all,
hopefully
my
we'll hear from you
pleasure.
soon about how it's all going.
Oh, lovely.
That's lovely. Thank you. All right, guys, so don't go away, because after the break, I'll be showing you how I got on when I was one of the speakers actually at the Mental Health in Higher Education Conference at the University of Nottingham. We'll also be seeing the lovely makeover of our guest Josephine Bardi, and our makeup expert Sani Somu will be talking about makeup on a budget, so don't go away. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, your place for all mental health and well-being topics. So first, before we carry on, let's take a look at this.
Do you know someone who deserves a makeover and would like to tell their story? Perhaps it's someone who's going through a hard time, or is always thinking about other people and not about themselves. Let us pamper them here on the show. And you can even nominate yourself. Get in touch with us via our website, chrissybshow.tv, and you or your friend could be the next person getting spoiled and sitting on the sofa having a chat with Chrissy. And the pampering could continue, because every month we give away a fabulous gift of a spa treatment courtesy of the luxurious Thai Square Spa in Trafalgar Square. You will feel like royalty, so don't delay. Get in touch today.
So do get in touch with us if you think you deserve a makeover. So now it's time to reveal Josephine Bardi's makeover. Now, Josephine did speak about earlier. She was the one that put together this fabulous conference at the University of Nottingham to raise awareness of mental health in higher education. So we thought she really deserved to be treated and to be pampered a bit, because she was working so hard on this event, and she did a brilliant job, by the way. So here's a photo of her before. And here she is now. Looking absolutely gorgeous. Hello, Josephine. How are you?
Hi, Chrissy. I'm fine.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
And hello to the lovely Sunny as well.
Hey, lovely
so,
to be back.
I mean, she's got amazing cheekbones. They're just standing out. So look at that. She's gorgeous.
I know. Cheekbones were a topic of conversation when we were getting ready. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we did
amazing.
bring them out a little bit more. Like with, we'll just show your cheekbones to the world. If you turn around a little bit, we've highlighted them a little bit, and we did do a bit of contour under the cheekbones. And like a lot of women with a slightly darker skin tone, we actually ended up using 3 different shades of foundation, because like different parts of the face are different darkness, so you kind of get a perfect blend then, but you also do a little bit of contouring.
Yes.
I mean, obviously she was stunning anyway.
I know. I saw her before the makeover.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't need to do anything to this face.
I know. My
Do you
job
like
is
the makeup anyway?
I love it. I especially like the fact that she's used a darker shade of the, and I love the lipstick. I love my red lipstick.
Yeah.
And the eyes. I don't usually wear mascara because I'm not very good at wearing mascara, but this is really beautiful. The skin is just spotless.
You look amazing, and the smile as well, Josephine. I have to say, she's got an amazing smile, and the lipstick colour is really, really good on her.
Thank you,
So
Chrissy.
lovely look. So now, Josephine, Sunny's going to teach us and the viewers at home about makeup on a budget, aren't you, Sunny?
Yes, I am.
Before we talk about your lovely story, so tell us.
Yes, I am. I've got some tips here. I've got 7 tips on makeup on a budget. And obviously, like, makeup on a budget can be a lot more than just buying cheap brands. So these are tips on how to make the makeup that you have last longer, go further, and then also kind of like little handy kind of online things, I guess. Number 1 is mixing your lipsticks. So none of us, like, I just brought you my palette. So this is a pro palette. None of us can buy every possible lipstick shade out there, but you can actually make tons of lipstick shades yourself. And I think I mixed 2 or 3, 2 lipsticks for you. And so you can easily at home, so if you have a red and a brown, you can make a plum, or if you have a brown and a pink, you get a really beautiful dusty rose. So the tendency is to go and buy that new shade and that new shade, but really, like, experiment, buy a little lip brush and experiment, and you all of a sudden have like 30 new shades when you try and mix them up.
Very good tip.
Another one is mascaras. So I love my cheap mascaras, and I hate the brushes that they come with. Generally, no good. A good tip is if you treat yourself to a nice mascara once, you don't need to do it any more than that. Most of these are exactly the same size. So you just use the nice mascara. Usually the brushes in nice mascaras are incredible. And then you just switch it onto a cheap mascara. And then you get a really lovely brush, and you get that beautiful fan effect.
So hang on, the liquid inside normally is around about the same. It's just the
Loads of them are pretty much the
Really?
same. They're waterproof, or they're like, some of them are a little bit more flaky, some of them are.
So
But
basically
a lot
paying
of,
for the brush.
you are paying for the liquid as well, but a lot of cheap mascaras are just as good.
good.
It's just the brush that isn't as good.
Okay, that's
Maybelline do really good ones.
Really good to know.
Blog sales. Now this is a really good tip, because a lot of people like me that do YouTube videos or are makeup artists, we do blog sales. We buy loads of stuff, or you get gifted stuff. You are never ever going to go through all that makeup. So if you go to places like Blog Lovin', you can keep an eye on blog sales and like literally buy incredibly expensive, beautiful Dior, Chanel for a fraction of this price. It would have been used a couple of times, but if you just spray it with 99% alcohol, it's perfectly safe to use. And then tip number 4, everybody knows that professional brushes are incredibly expensive, and you can spend a lot of money in them. And nowadays you can get very cheap synthetic brushes in places like Boots, but real brushes, as in like squirrel hair or goat hair, they're still expensive unless you buy them in art stores. So art brushes, this is how I had my first ever brush collection. Was I just went to an art supply store, and they do amazing brushes, because you know, like all of these big ones especially are so expensive. So if you go to an art store and you buy them, and they are the same incredible hair, but
wow,
fraction of the price.
I'm learning so much today.
Pinterest is another good place to save money. So Pinterest, if you write on the Pinterest search kind of little box, if you write MAC dupe lipsticks or Chanel dupe lipsticks, you get tons and tons of pins of shades that are exactly the same. So someone has gone through the trouble of like matching all those lipsticks to each other, and then you don't have to buy the £30 lipstick, you can buy the £3 lipstick because it's exactly the same shade. Wow. I love Pinterest, I'm crazy about Pinterest. This one is a bit more of a practical one, and number 6 is Vaseline. Like, we can do everything with Vaseline. Vaseline is the best eye makeup remover ever. Like, really? It takes off waterproof, it takes off eyeliner, it takes off everything. Super smoky eyes, you just put a little cotton pad, Vaseline, it comes off.
Oh, wow.
Don't do the whole face with it, your eye makeup. Otherwise you might like start getting a bit, unless you've got dry.
Because some of the eye makeup removers are really expensive, you know.
So expensive. And you go through it, because you're like wetting the cotton, you go through it in like 3 weeks, and then that Vaseline, the tub will last you a long time.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Great.
Last but not least, spot removal. So if you get a little pimple on your chin or somewhere, 2 different tricks. Aspirin is number 1. This is my favorite. You grind down an aspirin with water. Spot removal, like those little potions cost £20 or £30 easily, like the spot removal, like expensive one. You grind down an aspirin with water and you put it on, it dries on, and it dries it out.
Wow.
Or toothpaste.
Right, I've heard of the toothpaste one before, have you?
I haven't.
Aspirin works better.
Wow, that is good to know.
I know, I get a lot of breakouts. With a lot of aspirin go through in my house.
Sally, that was amazing. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
I learned a lot today. That was really good.
Shall I leave my little card with you?
Leave her notes. All right, so guys, as I said, after the break, I'll be speaking to Josephine about her amazing story. But first, actually, we're going to watch this video of the conference that you set up in a very short space of time at the University of Nottingham. Let's take a look. Hi everyone, today I'm at Nottingham University for an event called Raising Awareness of Mental Health in Higher Education. This has all been organised by someone called Josephine Bardi, who I'll actually be interviewing later on. And I'm here today to actually share my experience about being at university but suffering from depression at the same time, and hopefully letting people know what it's like to have a mental health issue while you're trying to study. Background about me first. I'll be speaking mainly about what it's like to have a mental health issue while you're at university, while you're studying. So I developed depression when I was just 16 years old, and I think that was one of the worst times for me, because it's like my dad was just like, I don't know what to do with you anymore, I don't know how to help you. I thought I was on a mission now. I need to talk to people, I need to talk to people with depression, I need to let people know about, you know, how they can recover, and like recovery is possible, and or like if they are going through something, they can talk to someone, because I met a lot of people there as well that have been through the same thing, so I didn't feel alone anymore. And I think one of the worst things is actually feeling like you're the only one that has these issues. That's the horrible feeling. So it's really, really important that we also encourage students to think about maybe why, or help them to understand the roots of what the issue is. Where is it stemming from? Where is it starting from? But I think the important thing is everyone has to find their way of dealing with it and tackling it, and not just letting it sit there, because mental health issues will get worse if you don't do anything. You need to do something. So everybody, this is Josephine Bardi, who's the brains behind this event today and who organised everything in a very short space of time, but worked out so well. Josephine, how are you?
Tired.
Can you imagine?
Really, really happy.
Tell us a bit about your background and why you decided to put something like this together.
I'm a mental health nurse, and just before I started the mental health nursing, I sustained injuries to my back and my neck. And so I can call myself, I don't know, someone with a mental health issue, because when I'm in pain, I experience the same symptoms that people with diagnosis will experience. I wanted to learn a bit more about public health, so I went ahead and did an MSc in public health. I was lucky to get a scholarship from the University of East London. Just before I completed that, I was offered the role of a lecturer. I noticed that students would email me and ask to come and see me in the office. they would come in and talk about mental health issues. Some of them were diagnosed, but most of them were not. So they would talk about symptoms of mental health, you know, how they're not eating, sleeping, not enjoying what they should be enjoying. So as a mental health nurse, I knew. I went to my team leader and said, this is a really big problem. We need to look at mental health. There's no taking time off from mental health. There's no get well soon in mental health, but there's recovery. So anyway, I began to think it was supposed to be a knowledge exchange. Remember when I met you on Twitter, I wasn't sure what I was doing. I started getting these emails from people saying I want to attend, and it became a conference.
I mean, this just goes to prove you don't need to know what you're doing before you embark on a journey, because sometimes you just learn as you go along. But if you're passionate about something, because you're obviously passionate about, you know, helping students, because you had so many people coming to you asking for help, you were limited in what you could do for them. But you made a way in a different way. You didn't know what you were doing, but look how it's all come together, and it's been great. Lovely speaking to you, Josephine. Thank you so much. This is Fabienne, everyone, and she works in the French department at the Bristol University. So Fabienne, thanks so much for speaking to us today. Tell us why you're at this particular event today.
So I came to this event because I run workshops for our students in the School of Modern Languages, mindfulness workshops.
So this is Matt, everyone, who works at the University of Nottingham. Matt, what's your function here?
Hi, so I'm the postgraduate officer in the Students' Union. So I represent all Masters and PhD students on our campus.
Do you have any personal tips for people, maybe how to look after their mental health? How do you, for example, look after yours?
So I get up very early every day. I get up about 5:15, sometimes 5:30. And I do that because to do for mindfulness, so I meditate for about 20 to 30 minutes every day. That's usually in the weekday, you know, so before I go to work, and then I do 13k on my bike.
So you're looking after the mental and the physical health?
I would say that the thing that I do to take care of my mental health is take care primarily of my physical health. So I like to exercise. I find that helps me massively.
Right, everyone, so our day at Nottingham University has come to an end. It's been really beneficial. I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to talk about my personal experience with mental health issues in higher education, and I really hope that from now on this event will spread worldwide as Josephine, you know, wants it to, and I'd love to be a part of that too. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to our program, everyone, which is all about mental health in higher education. And we also had a makeover. We've treated this lovely lady, Josephine Bardi, to a makeover because she's been working so hard. She's the one that put that amazing conference together that we saw earlier before the break. And now she's going to be telling us the other plans that she has, and actually about another event that she recently put together as well. Yes. Welcome back to the show, Josephine.
Thank you, Chrissy.
More relaxed now you've had your makeover.
Yes.
Bit sleepy maybe, right? Yeah. I always get sleepy after I've had my makeup done.
Thank you.
So tell us, we saw from the video that you had quite a few students coming up to you and telling you about their mental health issues, and that touched you, that you wanted to do more to help these students that were going through so much, and then you put the conference together. How do you think everything went, and what have the results been since that conference?
I think everything went better than I expected. I was really impressed with the turnout. We had 164 attendees. I've had students emailing me to say they would like to write their dissertations on mental health in higher education. And also there's a national conference being organized now by the Student Union. It's titled Mental Health Among Postgraduate Students.
Okay.
Then I have lots of students going to the RAMI website, writing their blogs and leaving this one sentence on how we can better support mental health in higher education.
Okay.
Then I have universities, some universities in the UK, 3 of them are planning to also host a RAMI conference.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, well done. That's
and
amazing.
Then I've been invited to speak at the Westminster briefing in January. And like I said, the Professor Jean Bersin at the Harvard University is also calling for raising awareness and asking for an urgent call on collaboration about mental health in higher education.
Amazing. So how does that feel now that there's so much interest after that first conference? Because I know you worked really hard to put that one together. So now that it's all taking off, how are you feeling?
Surprised.
Yeah.
Really, really anxious sometimes because I still have to do my PhD. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I'm really, really impressed. Particularly impressed with the support from the university, the head of school, my supervisors, the students.
Yeah.
So more students are finding it easier. Okay, it might be busy because students are emailing me more to talk about it.
Yeah.
There's more visits to the website. There's a lot of, thank God for Twitter. There's a lot of, I think that's where I met you.
Yes, we met via Twitter. Yes, that was good.
I'm really, really excited with the fact that people are talking about it, because the idea is to get the students' voice, into decision making about mental health in higher education. Yeah, I am really happy.
Yeah,
actually,
I was going to say it was really nice to see so many students supporting on the day and volunteering like that. That was lovely to see.
Yes,
they were so helpful, weren't they? They were amazing.
Yeah, the volunteers worked the previous night. They worked till 10 p.m. making up the parks, making sure that the halls were ready. By 7 a.m. the next morning, the volunteers were there, and most of the volunteers were PhD students and undergraduate students. Yeah, they were very helpful, and I'm thankful to them.
Now, tell us about the conference that you recently had, where you had the Mayor of Nottingham in attendance as well.
Yeah, I had, as part of the ESRC grant, I applied to host another event because I thought mental health does not just affect students in a higher education setting. So I wanted to take this voice and this message down into the community, and I organized an event called the ESRC Public Engagement Event. The main aim was to, interact with a non-academic audience, on the streets, asking them 3 simple questions, what is mental health to you? Who would you go to based on that definition? And how can we better support mental health? And it was fantastic. I sent a text actually to the mayor. I met him at an RCN event. And he said, yes, I heard about the conference. I'll definitely attend.
Oh, nice.
On Friday, which was a day before the event, his secretary emailed me to say, yes, the mayor will be there. The mayor was there. This is the Lord Mayor of Nottingham, Councillor Sagri Mohammed. He was there from 11 till about 2, interacting with the crowd, holding umbrellas, supporting us, taking photographs with the crowd. It was just an amazing, amazing day. And it was raining heavily. Cold, freezing, rainy day. But the public were fantastic. We got 150 people to speak to us, and they answered those 3 questions.
What were your findings? You said you asked these 3 questions. What was the sort of what kept coming up, would you say, that was highlighted on that day?
The 3 key findings were more funding for mental health, more mental health care professionals, both in the community and in the hospitals, and most importantly, early intervention. Of course, because University of Nottingham is in Nottingham, we had lots of students as well, and we had mothers saying, the earlier we talk about mental health, the better it is for the child to understand, so that when they get to the age of university, they actually understand, So.
Okay. Josephine, you said you're doing your PhD as well. How do you manage everything?
I've got my supervisors.
Okay.
But I thought that my PhD is, I'm looking at a mental health cafe, but I thought it'd be really, really important to understand mental health from other points of view.
Okay.
And I will be doing my students a disservice if I didn't look at mental health in higher education. Because I honestly believe that if we don't look at this awareness, if we don't raise more awareness, some of these students will end up in the mental health cafe, which is part of my PhD. I have a huge calendar on my wall. I have lots of volunteers,
that's good.
So because it's an awareness as well, we have lots of people doing this. So I have people who are looking at the Twitter for me. I have people who look at the news events. I have fantastic people. Can I mention names?
You can, of course. Give a shout out.
Yeah, I have this fantastic lady, Julia Casin-Leto. She works at the University of Nottingham. She's a student engagement officer. I have Liz, who is a PhD student, my supervisor.
So it's important to have all the support around you, and not definitely by yourself.
No, it's not good to do anything by. And I have students. The students with experiences of mental ill health, they support me. they come up with the ideas. Most of this is their voice, because the idea of this awareness of Rami is to use the students' voice. What are they saying? What are they thinking? And then so that their voice is part of the health promotion campaign and care in universities.
Future plans, Josephine?
Future plans, finish my PhD.
Which I'm sure you're going to do, yeah.
I definitely would like to see more Rami conferences. Okay. The more universities that host this event, the more inclusive it is. Yeah. It's also important that if the event is hosted in London, then in that community something about mental health, like I did in Nottingham, it happens. It will be really, really good also to follow up on the international collaboration by Jean Beresford of Harvard University to have, you know, this international conference on mental health in higher education.
That is so amazing, definitely. Josephine, I think you are absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much.
You know, you can see the kind of caring person you are, and actually very passionate about what you're doing, because, you know, you're making progress, and I think that's amazing. So we wanted to give you one more little treat, since you are so deserving, I think. So as well as your makeover, we'd like to give you this voucher as well. This is a 1-hour facial, courtesy of the Chrissy B Show and Thai Square Spa as well. So this is another way of us forcing you to relax a bit for a whole hour, and just get pampered.
Thank you
so much for everything you're doing. You're amazing.
Thank you, Chrissy. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
So just before Josephine goes, there's one more thing that she'd like to say. Tell us about this postcard.
So as part of the Rami campaign, Rami, by the way, is raising awareness of mental health in higher education. I developed a selfie postcard so people can handwrite this, take a photograph, snap it, upload on Twitter, on the social media. You can hold it with your friends, or you can hold it alone. So this is it. It's hashtag Rami, raising awareness of mental health in higher education.
Right, guys, so thanks again to Josephine, and now it's time to catch up with Pax, who's been hearing some more of your opinions.
Have you ever suffered from, or know anyone who has suffered from mental health issues at university? So depression, or just feeling down, irritability, stress with deadlines and all that?
Yeah, no, not me personally, but I know people who have, yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe a little bit of stress here and there, but nothing more than that.
Not at university, but I do know somebody personally at home.
I don't know of anyone who suffered of any mental health problems in my institution. No.
Do you think universities in general are equipped to support mental health?
I'm sure they are, yeah, because especially because there's so much money at uni, so they must surely be, but I just don't really know anyone personally enough to know if they have had to use the uni services.
I didn't have the reason to call on it myself, but I think back in the 90s it wasn't so much thought of, so I'm not sure it was there if it was needed.
To be quite fair, I don't think unis provide enough support because there's so many things that, you know, as young people we're dealing with at uni. You're juggling money issues, you're juggling your dissertation projects, and there's so many things, you know, it all ends up on top of you, and, you know, sometimes you can end up in a bad place. Maybe, you know, uni should be providing like a counselling service where you can drop in and speak to somebody, just relax. But at the moment, I don't think they offer any sort of help.
We have a great caring community in our university, and anyone who does suffer from any mental health problems, they would definitely be able to help them.
Is there anything you'd like to say to uni students currently suffering from mental health issues?
Just like, I don't know, make sure you speak to somebody, get help, don't suffer by yourself, because there is people around you to help you and who are suffering as well.
If you're suffering from mental health, anything at all, I would say, yeah, just try and be around people, or, you know, try to speak to somebody about it, but always be around people, because when you're around people, your mind is not very, you know, closed in, and you're experiencing, you know, different backgrounds of people.
I urge you to not give up on life. There's always other ways in life, and you can always do good in life, no matter what you're suffering from or how bad it is. You can always stand back up and carry on.
Talk to your friends, talk to family, talk to your lecturers, and don't bottle it up.
Well, thanks very much to Pax and to the public for giving their opinions there. And after the break, I'll be joined by Cynthia Liza Gregoire talking about autumn wear and telling us why she is loving her new job. And I'll also be giving you my tips on how to live a stress-free university life, or at least a low-stress uni life. So don't go away. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. And now it's time for our super styling segment with Cynthia Liza Gregoire, which we haven't seen for a while, and she's back with us in the studio to brighten up the place. How are you?
I'm very well. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. So have the viewers.
So busy.
So where have you been? You've had this new job in Selfridges. How is it going?
Very, very good, Chrissy. It's all coming together. So yeah, I'm just doing a lot of personal shopping and having a lot of fun with it.
What do you love about that then, the personal shopping side?
Well, if you recall, when I came, when we talked about why I came to London and everything, it was to style. And I mean, I've had, a blast styling you over the years and everything. And I mean, to make that into a job, that is kind of a cool part about it. And I think just seeing that some of my clients, I've only been there 3 weeks, but some of them already have, texted me and said, thank you so much for helping me find that dress for this party or for this event. We really, I think it's just giving people that confidence to wear, the outfit as well and stuff too. But I really feel that I'm helping people and I feel creative about it. And I just really feel like I'm in my element.
I loved your jacket as well.
Oh, right. I forgot I just came here right from a shift. This is my uniform. And yes, this is the Christmas bomber jacket. So you can see me if you come into the store very easily.
That's in the back as well. You got something on the back.
Yeah,
Selfridges.
Selfridges. So we are the personal shopping on the 4th floor. Okay. You've never seen me in a bomber jacket. It's really not my style. But
when she said to me she was coming in her elf uniform, I really actually expected her to be dressed as an elf. So I was quite surprised to see this jacket.
No, but it's just so that people can identify the team very quickly in that. But you know what? I'm getting used to it, and a lot of people quite fancy it. So I mean, it's reversible and all that. So
okay, cool. So we have a rail here, don't we, Cindy? Do you want to talk us through this?
So basically, when I knew I was coming on the Chrissy B Show today, I asked Chrissy to think about the items that she had purchased for this autumn season, and I would do the same, and then we would kind of just analyze what we bought and see, what became of everything. So we'll go through the pieces then.
Yes,
why don't
definitely.
we? So I'll just start with some of my pieces. When I look at, so I bought everything from here to here so far, which is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. And what do you notice about them, Chrissy? If you just glance at them quickly, what have I gravitated towards?
Patterns.
Patterns.
Some of them.
Really, all I could see was that I picked a bunch of black, but you're right.
I'm looking at the colours and the patterns actually.
It's true, yeah. What I noticed right away is that in autumn, winter, I tended to go for outerwear. I can see that I bought 2 jackets. I invested in 2 jackets. And also...
Take them out for us to see.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's lovely.
This one here I got in a Manchester vintage store.
Oh, okay.
So this one was, your show today is about budgets and university, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is a great option for university students, is hitting up those vintage stores. And I do have a beautiful piece here by, I forget who it's by, but it's some Daphne Raven, London. So it's an old English brand. The one thing you will have to, be careful about with vintage though is that some of it's quite old, so it means it's falling apart. Okay. So the lining inside this jacket needs to be redone, which is going to cost additional money. You also might need to have a little bit of a dry clean, which is a little bit of money as well. But I paid 20 quid for this. So I mean, for a jacket, that's quite, reasonable.
That's good.
This jacket here was actually my first purchase of the season. I ended up buying this in August, and you always have that one piece where you're like, I have to have that. This one here was a reversible jacket, and it got me because it's literally like 2 in 1, right?
Yeah.
And it's like this fake sheepskin kind of thing with very easy buttons by I forget who it's by actually. It doesn't really matter, I guess. But yeah.
Oh, look at that.
But I love it. And look at the outside. It's like so furry and fuzzy.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
it actually is reversible. So it looks cool both ways. Have a feel of that one, Chrissy.
In one. Oh yeah, very
Velvet by Graham and
nice.
Spencer. That's who it's by. And I love wearing it with the collar up, and it's quite mod. It's quite long, 3/4 length.
really
It's quite
like
warm. Yeah. So outerwear. A couple dresses that I bought. This one here is just from Zara, just quite easy, one piece. The thing I love about buying dresses and actually being a woman is that you can get away sort of with one piece being your outfit, and you can save a lot of money. I quite like the necktie on here. I think it adds, first of all, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of style, that kind of thing. You know, checks or plaid or whatever you call this here, this pattern, in Britain, this is quite just easy to wear, right?
Yeah.
And I actually bought it to go with these just short ankle boots. Those guys, and these ones have like little cutout detail on them. They look patent leather, but they're not. These were a steal of a price from Zara, so they're quite reasonable, aren't they? This is another vintage piece that I got at that same place.
You love that style, don't you?
Do you? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And you know what I noticed? I noticed that Gucci is doing a lot of things very similar with this kind of ruffles, this kind of neck. I mean, this is very 70s. This cost me a tenner in a sale.
Really?
Tenner, yeah. And I'll get it taken in or whatever, but I just thought it was great. It was vibrant colors, and like I said, if you look at actually what Gucci's doing this season, you will find very similar pieces to that, so I was quite pleased with that. This one here, I was attracted to this in the store, and I thought, what a fabulous long dress this is. And then I looked at it, and it's actually, Chrissy, this goes inside. Can you imagine? So it's quite like this like billowy sort of skirt.
nice.
So I thought it was like this long garment, but it's actually not.
Of course you could get away with it if you really wanted to wear it.
Right? It's not bad. It would look very, what's the word? Oh gosh. It would look very Yoshi Yamamoto, very like Japanese style. Yeah.
It's very unusual.
Yeah. And this here, actually, I think you have a scarf too as well that you brought. I think a scarf, first of all, it brightens up any outfit. And because I was buying a lot of black items, I thought, you know what, a splash of color with a cashmere scarf, and it keeps you warm as well. This one's quite special to me because it was my going away present from Questionnaire.
Oh, was it? Oh, nice.
So it's got sentimental value. This is a cashmere set, bolero set that I bought from a not a vintage store, but a consignment store, which I think women and students, you know, you can really find a lot of good value in like somebody else's, you know, giveaways. Really. This one here is you have the cardigan part to it, but you also have the little halter top underneath. So I mean, even in the summertime, this is going to be something that, you know, it's 2-in-1. I like those kind of reversible jackets and 2-in-1 jobs, right?
Yes. Get the most out of everything.
This is my favorite purchase of the season. My husband just doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it, but I'm trying to make
he doesn't
him
like
get
that?
it. He doesn't. I love this.
That's so
This
cute.
is gorgeous. One of the biggest trends for the season, Chrissy, is just sheer. And these sleeves are sheer. The skirt is actually quite sheer, but it has like this underlay slip so that you can't see through it, but it does have that appearance of sheer from the knees down. It's got kind of like a high collar, fabulous autumn colors and print actually. It's quite seasonal.
Yeah.
And it's just really fun to wear. It's by Ganni. It's a Swedish brand, and I think they're quite reasonable. So I quite love this. Yeah. But anyways, those are what I bought. I thought, you know, just reflect on sort of what your buying patterns are. Oh, I also bought these boots as well.
Very cute boots.
Do you like them?
Yes.
These are done by Prada, and they got that little bit of fringe on them. So they're just like a slip-on ankle boot, but just a little bit extra on them. So
well, fortunately, we don't have time to go through the things that I brought today, so, which is really good because I didn't want to do it.
Oh my god.
So thank you very much, Cynthia, for the styling. That was amazing. Thank you so much, and I love your purchase. And definitely see you soon, And do keep working hard at Selfridges there.
Right. See you there then.
And guys, after this, I'll be talking about a few tips for you, on how to look after your mental health while you're studying. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up the show with a few of these tips. So my first point is to watch out for the signs. You really need to get into the habit of monitoring yourself because uni is a very stressful time. So don't ignore things if you aren't, for example, sleeping well, or if you're feeling nauseous, dizzy, anything like that. Make sure you are your own police. My second point is do something about what you're feeling. So if there's something that you need to change, for example, maybe you're staying up to all hours studying and not sleeping enough, or maybe you're on those really bad energy drinks, things that are so bad for you, look into changing your diet. Make sure you're looking after yourself, taking regular breaks. And if you are finding that your workload is difficult, maybe try talking to friends for tips on how they're managing. And if you find that maybe no one's managing very well, speak to your tutors, your superiors to get the help that you need. My third point is don't close yourself off. So I had an experience at university when I finally mustered up the courage to speak to one of my tutors, and I told him I was depressed, and all he said to me was, well, thanks for letting me know, and that was it. Now, I don't blame him, because back then mental health issues and things weren't really spoken about, and I'm sure it's much better today. But just because maybe a person that you might speak to doesn't really give you any support or the help that you need, don't let that put you off to the point where you don't talk to anyone else. Maybe that person just didn't know how to handle things, but please do make sure that you do talk to someone. There will be mental health advisors and counselling services available at your university, or you can even go to your GP. So it really does help to be in contact with someone and to let someone know what you're going through. So for example, I'm corresponding with one particular viewer who contacted me, and she said to me that, she said, you don't know the strength that you're giving me by being in contact. So even just having that contact with another person that understands you can make a world of difference. So another point that I'd like to talk about in looking after yourself when you are studying, looking after your mental health, is to be disciplined. So try structuring your day and have your tasks set out, and actually even your rest and leisure times set out as well, because you feel that you're achieving much more and you won't be wasting time. And that, when we waste time and we're not being productive, we do get stressed. So once you structure your day and you're disciplined with the things that you're doing, then it'll be much, much better for you and you'll feel a lot better. Well, everyone, that's all we have time for on today's program. But if you would like to get in touch, if you need any help with anything, you need to speak to someone, or you have a suggestion for a topic on this program, do get in touch with us. You can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show, leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show, or visit our website, which is chrissybshow.tv. And if you'd like to know more about me and how I overcame depression and other mental health issues, you can go to my website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Till next time, bye-bye for now.
It's really good to have a TV show where people can talk about mental health and well-being, not just in higher education, but for everyone, because whether we like it or not, it does affect us and our family members. So thank you to Chrissy and the crew for inviting me. I'm really, really thankful for this TV show, and I'll be tweeting a lot about it.
It's a great show and it's doing really important work. I've really enjoyed myself, and I hope that it helps to spread the word about mental health.
Now, before I meet my first guest, let's catch up with the news with Cax. Now, before I meet my first guest, let's catch up with the news with Cax.
I don't know if this is
Eliza Gregor. We have missed her. We haven't seen her for a while, but she's back into the studio, and she's actually had a lovely